She just looked at you and said, I don't believe that you can change. And in that moment, everything that you've been working on, every effort, every attempt, felt like it meant nothing. But here's the truth. Her doubt isn't the problem. What you do next is. Let me show you exactly how to turn this around. Hey, I'm Noah Allen, and if you're watching this, chances are you've heard some version of that line. Maybe it was softer. I need to see it to believe it. Or maybe it was harsher. You always say you'll change, but you never do. Either way, it stings because you're trying. You're showing up differently. You're working on yourself, but she's not buying it yet. And that doubt is eating you alive. Here's what most guys do wrong. They take her disbelief personally. They get defensive. They try to convince her with words, or worse, they give up entirely, thinking, if she doesn't believe me, what's the point? But here's what I want you to understand. Her disbelief isn't rejection, it's protection. And once you understand why she doesn't believe you and what she actually needs to see, you can start rebuilding trust in a way that's real, lasting, and completely undeniable. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly what to do when she says she doesn't believe you can change. We'll cover why she feels this way, what's actually required to rebuild her trust, and the 3 specific actions you need to take starting today. And if you're serious about turning this around, if you're ready to lead your marriage like the man you know you can be, stick around until the end because I'm going to share how you can get personalized help to make this real. Now, let's start with a hard truth. She doesn't believe you because you've been giving her reasons not to. Now, look, before you shut down or get defensive, hear me out. This isn't about blaming you. It's about understanding the reality she's living in, because once you see it from her perspective, everything changes. Think about it like this. Imagine you hired a contractor to fix your house. They show up late, did half the job, left a mess, and promised they'd come back to finish. Then they disappear for a week. Weeks, maybe even. When they finally showed up again, they said, I promise this time will be different. Trust me. Would you believe them? Probably not. You'd need to see the work complete first. You'd need proof, not promises. That's where your wife is right now. She's heard the words before. She's seen the initial effort before. And she's watched it fade before. So when you say, I'm changing, her brain doesn't hear hope. It hears another cycle starting. Let me give you an example. I worked with a guy, we'll call him Kent, high-performing entrepreneur, runs successful business, and respected in his community. But at home, his wife had completely shut down. She wasn't yelling or fighting. She was just done. Kent came to me frustrated. He said, Noah, I've been working on myself for months. I'm calmer. I'm more present. I've done everything she asked. But she still looks at me like I'm full of it. What am I doing wrong? Here's what I told him. It's like, hey, man, Kent, she's not looking at what you're doing now. She's looking at the pattern, your ICT, at the patterns that says that you start strong, then you fade out. Until you break that pattern, until you prove consistency, her doubt is actually rational. That hit him hard because he realized her disbelief wasn't mean, it was self-protection. Here's a concept I usually tell every client. It's called the trust bank. Every promise you keep, every time your actions match your words, every moment you show up grounded and consistent, that's a deposit. Every broken promise, every time you react emotionally, and every moment you check out or let her down, that's a withdrawal. Right now, your trust bank is overdrawn, and you can't rebuild trust with words. You can only rebuild trust with deposits, over time, with consistency, and without expecting credit for each one. Most guys make this mistake. They do something good and expect immediate recognition. Now, that's bad because it creates a transactional relationship, a tit for tat, and you don't want that. They stay calm during one argument and think, see, I've changed. But your wife isn't keeping score week by week. She's watching for the pattern. She needs to see that this version of you is stable, not temporary. Here's the other thing most guys miss. Her doubt isn't just about you. It's really about her. She's afraid of hoping again. She's afraid of believing you. softening her guard, and then getting hurt all over again. Because every single time that she believed you before, she's been disappointed. And each disappointment just made her walls thicker. So when she says, I don't believe that you can change, what she's really saying is, I can't afford to hope again. It hurts too much. That's why convincing her with words doesn't work. Words are cheap. She needs behavioral proof, consistent, visible, undeniable proof that this time is different. Now, if you're realizing right now that you've been approaching this all wrong, if you're thinking, okay, I get it, but what do I actually do? I want you to know you don't have to figure this out alone. My team and I work with high-performing men every single day who are all in your exact position. Men whose wives are emotionally distant, doubtful, or even ready to leave, or have left already. And we help them rebuild trust, reignite connection, and lead their marriage like the man they were meant to be. If that's you, I want to invite you to book a clarity call with me and my team. We'll get clear on where you are, what's blocking your progress, and exactly what you need to do next. No fluff, no guessing, just a clear plan. That link is in the description below. Let's talk. All right. So now you understand why she doesn't believe you. The next step is to stop trying to convince her and start proving it. Here's what I mean by that. Words mean nothing without action. Most guys, when their wife says, I don't believe you, immediately go into defense mode. They say things like, oh, but I'm changing. Can't you see? I've been working so hard on this. You're not even giving me a chance. Here's the problem with that. Every word you say to defend yourself just reinforces her doubt, because from her perspective, you're still talking instead of doing. Here's the rule. Your actions have to speak louder than your words, and they have to speak for long enough that she can't ignore them. This isn't about one big gesture. It's not about flowers, apologies, or grand declarations. It's about micro moments. It's about showing up consistently day after day in ways that rebuild safety and trust. Now, let me kind of break this down what that looks like practically. Behavioral proof means that you say you're going to do something and then you do it every time. You commit to staying grounded during conflict and you actually stay grounded even when she's triggered. You stop reacting emotionally and she sees that you handle stress, frustration, and tension differently than you did before. You lead with calm presence and she feels it in the room, in the way you move, in the way you respond. Now, imagine your wife comes home stressed. She snaps at you about something small. Maybe you left the dishes in the sink. In the past, you would have gotten defensive, probably shut down, or even fired back with something sarcastic. But this time you stay calm. You acknowledge her frustration without taking it personally and you say, yeah, you're right. I'll take care of it. And then you do. Without huffing, without puffing, without making a big deal, or without needing her to thank you. That's one deposit. Now, imagine that happens again the next week, and the week after, the week after. Every time you stay grounded, every time that you follow through, every time she sees a version of you that doesn't collapse under pressure, that's when the pattern starts to shift. That's when her nervous system starts to register, wait, he's not reacting anymore. He's actually different. Consistency over intensity every single time. Consistency beats intensity every day, all day, every time. You don't need to blow her mind with one perfect week. You need to show up reliable for weeks and months because her doubt has been built over time and it's going to be dismantled over time. Most guys burn out because they try way too hard, way too fast. They go all in for 2 weeks, then fade. And when that fade, her doubt gets reinforced even more. It's like strength training. You don't walk into the gym and deadlift 500 pounds one day, and you definitely don't do it on day one. You start with what you can handle and you show up consistently. Over time, you get stronger. Over time, the results become undeniable. Same thing here. Start with the small, manageable changes. Stay grounded in one argument. Follow through on one commitment. Lead calmly in one stressful moment. Then do it again and again and again. That's how you prove it. Here's the other thing. You must stop asking for credit. I know it's frustrating. You're doing the work. She's not acknowledging it. But here's the truth. The moment that you need her validation, you're leading from weakness, not from strength. Real change doesn't require applause. Real change is self-evident. It shows up in how you carry yourself and how you respond under pressure, how you lead your family, whether she notices or not. Your job isn't to convince her you've changed. Your job is to change and let the results speak for themselves. All right, you understand why she doesn't believe you, and you know you need to prove it behaviorally. Now let's talk about how to do it systematically. This is where the emotional layering protocol comes in. The exact framework I use with every client to rebuild trust, reignite connection, and lead the marriage from strength. This protocol has 3 stages: healing, shifting, and bonding. So let me kind of walk you through each of these stages and what they mean and how it applies to rebuilding her belief in you. Stage 1 is the emotional healing, which is actually really rebuilding safety. The first stage is about healing, specifically healing wounds that broke her trust in the first place and broke that safety. This isn't about apologizing endlessly or rehashing the past. Actually, if you apologize endlessly, you're just cheapening your word. You don't want that. It's about identifying the bleeding points, the specific behaviors that damage the relationship, and addressing them at the root. Here's what that looks like practically, okay? If you've been reactive, you work on emotional regulation so she feels safe during conflict. If you've been inconsistent, you work on follow through so she can rely on you. And if you've been checked out, which a lot of guys do, you work on presence so that she can feel seen and prioritized. The goal here isn't perfection, it's stability. It's showing her that the version of you that hurt her isn't coming back because you've done the internal work to change the behavior. Think of it like this. Imagine you broke your arm badly, like multiple fractures. The doctor sets the bone, but the healing doesn't happen overnight. For weeks, you have to protect it, keep it stable, and avoiding putting weight on it. Think about it like this too. Plants, they have the nighttime to grow. They get photosynthesis during the day, and then they have to grow at night. Your marriage is the same. You've caused the damage, unintentionally maybe, but the damage is real. And before you can rebuild connection, you have to stabilize the foundation. You have to stop causing new harm. You have to create an environment where healing can actually happen. That's what stage 1 is about. You're not trying to win her back yet. You're creating safety so she can lower her guard enough to even consider reconnecting. Stage 2 is the emotional shifting, okay? Once you've established safety, the second stage is about shifting, changing the dynamic between you and your wife so she starts to see you differently. This is where leadership comes in. This is where you stop reacting to her emotional state and you start setting the tone for the relationship. You become the grounded presence in the room, the steady force, the man that she can lean on, not because you're chasing her, but because you're unshakable. Here's what that really looks like. When she's stressed, stay calm. When she's distant, you stay connected without chasing. When she tests you, and she will, you pass the test by staying grounded. Most guys fail here because they take everything personal. She pulls away, they panic. She says something harsh, they collapse. But shifting means that you stop absorbing her emotions and you start leading from your center. I had a client, we're going to call him Jacob, whose wife was completely shut down. She barely spoke to him. She slept in a separate room. She told him she wasn't sure if she even wanted to stay married. And Jacob came to me desperate. He said, Noah, I've been trying everything. I've been nice. I've been giving her space and nothing works. What do I do? Here's what I told him. Stop reacting to her distance. Start leading with presence. Every time she's cold, you stay warm. Not needy, not chasing, just steady. Jacob didn't believe me at first, but he committed. And within weeks, something shifted. His wife started softening. Not because he convinced her with words, not because he chased her, but because his energy changed. She felt it. That's what stage 2 is about. You're not trying to control her response. You're changing your energy and letting that shift ripple into the relationship. Then stage 3 is the emotional bonding, which is really rebuilding connection. That's why it's the final stage. That's why it's bonding, where you move from safety and stability to genuine connection and desire. This is where intimacy gets rebuilt. This is where she starts choosing you again, not because she has to, but because she wants to. Because you've proven over time that you're the man she can trust, rely on, and reconnect with. Here's the key though. You can't skip the stage. You can't just jump right to it. You can't force bonding before you've done the healing and the shifting. If you try, it'll backfire because she's not ready yet. Bonding happens naturally when the foundation is solid, when she feels safe with you, when she sees you leading consistently, when she realizes that this version of you isn't temporary, it is real. And when that happens, her doubt disappears. not because you convince her, but because you've proved it. All right, let's bring this back home. If your wife says that she doesn't believe you can change, understand this: her doubt is protection, not rejection. She's not your enemy. She's just tired of hoping and getting disappointed. Your job isn't to convince her with words. Your job is to prove with actions consistently over time without needing her validation. Use the emotional layering protocol to guide you. Heal the wounds by addressing your bleeding points and creating safety. Shift the dynamic by leading with grounded presence instead of reacting. Bond by rebuilding connection once the foundation is solid. This isn't fast, but it works. And actually, slow is smooth and smooth is fast. And when you commit to it, if you show up day after day, week after week with behavioral proof instead of just empty promises, because everybody's always trying to convince her, you have to be undeniable. Her doubt will fade. Not because you forced it, but because you earned it. Now, if you're ready to stop guessing and start leading, if you want a clear step-by-step plan to rebuild trust, reignite connection, and save your marriage, I want to invite you to book a call with me and my team. We work with high-performing men every day who are exactly where you are right now. Men whose wives are distant, doubtful, or ready to leave. And we help them turn it around using the exact strategies I just shared. The link is in the description below. Book your call today. Let's get you the clarity support you need to lead your marriage like the man you were meant to be. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.